Have you ever found yourself hesitating before picking up a gallon of milk, wondering whether your arms can handle it? If that question rings a bell, you're not alone. Many older adults discover that lifting a gallon of milk, something they barely thought about in their younger years, has suddenly become a small yet telling challenge. It might seem like a trivial task, but it's a powerful indication of how our arm strength influences everyday independence. When you can easily lift that gallon and place it on the kitchen counter, you're doing more than just making sure your morning cereal gets its splash of milk. You're also confirming that you've maintained a vital level of strength that keeps you in the driver's seat of your own life. Yet many seniors face a similar concern. Am I losing too much muscle to keep doing the things I enjoy? Perhaps you've seen friends or loved ones struggle with routine tasks, or you've noticed subtle changes in your own abilities. Taking longer to open a jar, feeling a strain when pushing yourself up from a chair, or even avoiding certain household chores because they seem too taxing. These aren't just passing inconveniences. They're signals that your body may need some extra attention and support. Addressing arm strength can lead to smoother daily living, from playing with grandchildren to maintaining a sense of personal dignity. After all, being able to do things for yourself matters at any age, especially later in life, when independence becomes more precious. Maintaining or improving arm strength doesn't have to be an uphill battle. In fact, it can become an empowering journey, one that reaffirms how much you can still achieve and enjoy. By focusing on a few practical adjustments to your daily routine, you can begin to see real improvements in how easily you handle everything from grocery bags to household tasks. The simple act of lifting that gallon of milk without hesitation is within reach, and it's more than just a strength goal. It's a symbol of your capacity to shape your own life on your own terms. Let's explore some powerful ways to enhance arm strength and sustain your independence. First, we'll look at common misconceptions about what arm strength really means for older adults and how you may be shortchanging your capabilities without realizing it. Next, we'll dive into gentle yet effective exercise strategies, adjustments to your daily habits that can make a significant difference. Finally, we'll talk about key lifestyle factors, like posture and adaptation techniques, that support your arms and upper body in ways you might never have considered. What you'll discover isn't a quick fix or a magical cure. It's a blueprint for staying strong, self-reliant, and in control of your daily life. I've spent years working with older adults who have successfully increased their arm strength and regained the confidence to do what they love most, from gardening to dancing, from traveling to simply lifting a cherished grandchild. The insights I'll share are backed by a blend of practical wisdom and widely supported health recommendations. While I'm not here to give medical advice, I am here to offer guidance that many seniors have found life-changing. And if you're under a doctor's care, these tips can complement any existing plan you already have in place. Before we dive in, feel free to reflect on your current abilities. How do your arms feel when you're carrying groceries, playing with your grandchildren, or trying to open that stuck pickle jar? Is there a nagging sense that you're not quite as strong as you once were? Keep that in mind as we move forward, because understanding where you are right now is the first step to getting to where you want to be. And at the end of this journey, imagine how it will feel to lift that gallon of milk, or anything else, without a second thought, confident in your own strength and independence. Now let's take this step by step and explore how misconceptions, targeted exercise, and a few important lifestyle modifications can make a powerful difference in your arm strength and overall sense of freedom. Sometimes when we think about strength training in our later years, an image of intense gym workouts comes to mind. Heavy barbells, complicated machines, loud music, and an environment that can feel more intimidating than welcoming. It's easy to believe that if you're in your mid-70s or beyond, those routines simply aren't for you. But that assumption often leads seniors to avoid any form of strength training altogether. The truth is, arm strength has less to do with pumping iron in a noisy fitness center and more to do with how consistently you engage those muscles in everyday life. One common misconception is the idea that strength declines so inevitably with age that it's pointless to fight it. Picture Tom, who just turned 75. He's always been fairly active, walking around his neighborhood, gardening, and doing small home repairs. But over the years, he started to notice subtle changes. Painting a fence tired him out much more quickly, and he often asked a neighbor for help carrying heavier items. He reasoned this was just how life goes and believed there wasn't much he could do. What Tom discovered changed his perspective. When his grandson, who studies exercise science, suggested that Tom try light resistance exercises, like using simple resistance bands while seated, Tom was skeptical. Weren't those workouts meant for younger people? He tried it anyway. Every morning after his coffee, he spent just 10 minutes practicing gentle arm curls and overhead presses with a band designed for beginners. To his surprise, after 3 weeks, he could hold his grandchild for longer without feeling tired. He even found lifting that gallon of milk for his cereal in the morning wasn't the chore it used to be. This shift happened not because Tom became a champion weightlifter, but because he challenged the belief that age alone had doomed his muscles to permanent decline. Research shows that even in our 70s and 80s, our muscles still respond to regular, moderate resistance training. This doesn't mean you'll transform into a bodybuilder, but it does mean you can see genuine improvements in muscle tone, stamina, and overall functional capacity. The key is to find exercises that meet you where you're at and build up from there. Simple resistance bands are often available in different levels of tension. Starting with the least resistant band is perfectly fine. It's about progress, not perfection. If you're open to trying this for yourself, start small and gentle. Sit in a sturdy chair with your back supported. Loop the band under your feet, hold the ends firmly, and perform slow arm curls. Keep the motion controlled, exhaling as you bend your elbows and inhaling as you lower. Perform 5 to 10 repetitions, or as many as feel comfortable. Rest, then repeat for 1 or 2 sets. It might not feel like much at first, but within days or weeks, your arm muscles could begin to regain some of the strength they've lost over time. The benefits aren't just physical. Building arm strength can give you back a sense of self-reliance. When you no longer need to ask for help carrying groceries or picking up your energetic little grandchild, your day-to-day life becomes less about limitations and more about possibilities. That shift from dependence to capability can be a massive emotional boost, reminding you that getting older doesn't have to mean giving up on the activities you value. It's a reminder that your body, though older, is still adaptable, still capable of growth, and still ready to surprise you with what it can achieve. As you think about trying some of these exercises, remember to approach it with curiosity and caution. If something causes pain or discomfort, consult a healthcare provider to see if there are modifications that might be safer for you. You don't need a gym membership or fancy equipment. A set of light resistance bands and a supportive chair can be all you need to start reclaiming that functional strength you might have assumed was gone for good. How are you feeling so far about your potential for regaining arm strength? Is it different from what you believed before? Consider making a mental note or writing down your biggest hesitation. Overcoming that initial doubt can be one of the most powerful steps you take, because it opens the door to new possibilities and encourages you to challenge other outdated beliefs about aging. Another subtle misunderstanding about arm strength is the idea that if you're not in a structured exercise session, you're not building muscle. Many people imagine that strength training only happens during a formal workout. But you can integrate muscle strengthening moments into your daily activities in ways that feel completely natural. Think about all the small movements you do throughout the day, reaching for items on shelves, carrying a laundry basket, or even playing a card game that requires shuffling and dealing multiple times. Each of these moments is an opportunity to engage your arm muscles, so long as you're intentional about it. Let's take Janice, who is 80 and has never set foot in a traditional gym. She dislikes the idea of wearing gym clothes or following strict regimens, so she's found ways to slip arm-strengthening activities into her daily routine. Every time she unloads the dishwasher, she lifts each plate and bowl slowly, pausing for a moment at chest level to engage her biceps. She keeps a small pair of lightweight dumbbells in her living room. When she's watching her favorite TV show, she'll do a few arm raises during commercial breaks. If you ask her, she'll say, "It doesn't even feel like exercise. It just feels like living life," but with a little more purpose behind the movements. Although Janice's approach seems simple, the results are surprisingly significant. Over time, those incremental efforts add up. She's noticed that opening jars and bottles is easier than before, and she doesn't need to rely on her neighbors to carry her groceries. The biggest win, according to Janice, is how she feels about herself. like she's taking charge of her own well-being without upending her lifestyle. Research supports this kind of integrated movement strategy. Even small bouts of activity repeated daily can lead to measurable improvements in muscle strength and endurance. In fact, some experts suggest that frequent, low-intensity strength activities spread throughout the day can be easier on older joints and tissues than singular, high-intensity workouts. It's a way to sneak in exercise without feeling like you're committing to an entirely new fitness regimen. What's most important is consistency. Instead of doing a big workout once every few weeks, building strength gradually involves small, regular efforts. You can incorporate a 2-minute arm routine before each meal, for instance. It could be as easy as leaning against a countertop to do a modified push-up, or gently lifting a light can of vegetables in each hand while seated. Keep your movements slow and controlled, and pay attention to your breathing. Exhale during the lifting part. Inhale when you return to the starting position. Beyond the muscle benefits, regularly engaging your arms, even in brief intervals, can enhance your coordination and confidence. It reminds your brain that your arms are still active participants in daily life, which in turn can prevent those feelings of fragility or apprehension that sometimes creep in. Feeling more sure-handed and agile has an emotional benefit too. It reinforces the belief that you're fully capable of managing daily tasks, errands, and social activities on your own. If you're still unsure how to get started, think of a daily task that already involves arm movement. It could be something as simple as putting dishes away, folding laundry, or reorganizing a shelf. Challenge yourself to do these tasks with a bit more mindful muscle engagement. Notice if you feel any strain or discomfort and make adjustments as needed. Over time, you may find that these small acts of intention add up to a noticeable difference in your strength, making that once daunting gallon of milk feel much lighter. Feel free to share in a notebook or with a friend how you plan to fit these mini strength sessions into your day. Sometimes voicing your intention out loud or writing it down makes it feel more real and can motivate you to follow through. Even asking a neighbor or family member to check in on your progress can be a fun way to stay accountable. A third major factor in arm strength, and one that's often overlooked, is posture and how the rest of your body supports your arms. Many older adults assume that if their arms feel weak, the problem is isolated to the arms alone. In reality, your shoulders, upper back, and even your core muscles play a vital role in supporting every movement you make with your arms. Think about how often you brace your midsection or shift your shoulders when reaching for something overhead. When these supporting muscle groups become deconditioned, it can impact how effectively you lift, push, or carry objects, even something as routine as a milk jug. Consider Paul, who is 72 and lives with mild arthritis in his shoulders. He noticed a progressive slump in his posture, rounding forward whenever he sat down for a meal or used his computer. Over time, his arms started to feel weaker. Lifting everyday items to eye level strained his shoulders. After mentioning this to a physical therapist, he learned that part of his problem stemmed from tight chest muscles and weak upper back muscles, which forced his shoulders into a rounded position. This posture made it harder for his arms to function optimally. Following the advice he received, Paul began a series of simple stretches and strengthening exercises that targeted his upper back and core. One of his favorite exercises involved standing with his back against a wall, gently tucking his chin, and trying to keep his entire spine and the back of his head in contact with the wall for 30 seconds at a time. He also started doing seated rows with a resistance band, focusing on squeezing his shoulder blades together at the end of each repetition. These small changes helped him gradually improve his posture. Within a few weeks, he noticed that he could place items on higher shelves with far less discomfort. Better posture does more than just make lifting easier. It also helps you breathe more effectively and can even elevate your mood. When your shoulders are pulled back and your spine is more aligned, your lungs can expand fully, often leading to a greater sense of energy. You might also project more confidence, a subtle but meaningful outcome that can influence how you feel about aging and independence. If you're curious about improving posture to support arm strength, pay attention to how you sit and stand throughout the day. When standing, distribute your weight evenly on both feet and gently pull your shoulders back and down. Imagine there's a string at the top of your head, softly pulling you upward. When sitting, try to avoid slouching by placing a small cushion or rolled towel behind your lower back if that helps keep your spine supported. Taking regular breaks to stand and stretch, especially if you spend time on the computer or watching television, can make a notable difference in how your upper body feels. It's always wise to listen to your body. If you have existing shoulder or spine issues, consult a physical therapist or other healthcare professional for tailored advice. They can show you how to modify exercises so they're safe and beneficial for your specific needs. Posture is a lifelong journey, and it takes patience to correct habits formed over many years. But each time you stand a little taller and move your arms more freely, you're not just improving your strength, you're enhancing the foundation for a more independent, energetic life. Now that we've covered these three core ideas, challenging misconceptions about arm strength, integrating strength building into everyday tasks, and supporting your arms with better posture, you might notice you're viewing your own abilities differently. Could you see yourself trying out these approaches, even in small ways? If you're still on the fence, think about the sense of autonomy that comes from lifting that gallon of milk effortlessly, or from raising your arms overhead to retrieve a favorite keepsake on the top shelf. These aren't just motions. They're affirmations of independence. Improving arm strength can transform more than just your ability to handle a milk jug. It's part of a broader shift toward living life on your own terms. Picture the satisfaction of picking up your mail without wincing, playing a game of catch with your grandchildren, or volunteering for activities that involve some light lifting. These scenarios might have felt too difficult in the past, but they become increasingly attainable as your arms grow stronger and your confidence grows with them. There is a timely element to all this. Muscle strength, once lost, can be much harder to regain later, so there's no better moment than now to start practicing these methods, whether that means formal exercises with bands or integrating strength moves into your everyday activities. You don't need to fear missing out on life's joys or worry that you'll have to rely on others for simple tasks. The steps you take now can prevent further decline and may even open up new avenues you hadn't considered possible. One of the greatest rewards of focusing on arm strength is the reassurance it brings. The day you realize you can lift that gallon of milk without a second thought, a wave of self-assurance often follows. This reassurance tends to spill over into other areas of your life, encouraging you to do more, try new things, and stay active in your community. After all, independence is about more than just being physically capable. It's about having the peace of mind that comes from knowing you can handle whatever daily life throws your way. It's important to remember that everyone's situation is different. Some seniors may benefit from more rigorous forms of exercise under professional guidance, especially if they have specific health conditions or injuries. Others may find that gentle, consistent effort is enough to keep them feeling strong and capable. Regardless of where you land on that spectrum, the message remains the same. You are not powerless against the passage of time, and you certainly don't have to surrender to the myth that growing older inevitably means growing weaker. If you feel inspired, consider writing down one immediate action you'll take. Maybe it's buying a set of light resistance bands or setting a daily reminder on your phone to do a couple of arm-strengthening moves before each meal. Perhaps you'll evaluate your posture in the mirror and use a rolled towel to support your lower back while you sit. Whatever it is, make it specific and attainable. This small commitment can be the turning point that unlocks greater autonomy and a deeper appreciation for what your body can still do. Should you decide to make these changes, make sure to celebrate the milestones along the way, even the small ones. Notice when a jar opens more easily, when a household chore feels less daunting, or when you realize you're carrying that grocery bag with a renewed sense of ease. These are signs that your muscles are adapting. Celebrate them. Each victory is an important reminder that strength is still within your reach, and your independence is yours to maintain. Finally, as you move forward, keep your healthcare provider in the loop, especially if you have concerns about how certain exercises might affect existing conditions. Collaboration with health professionals ensures you're making choices that align with your overall well-being. Here's the bottom line. Being able to lift that gallon of milk is more than a trivial party trick. It's a reflection of your body's capacity to keep you living on your own terms. The journey to improved arm strength isn't about defying age. It's about embracing your body's ongoing potential and preserving the self-reliance that makes life feel full and free. Even if you start with just a tiny step, like an extra few minutes of mindful arm movement each day, you're choosing possibility over resignation. And that choice, repeated daily, can change the trajectory of your later years. You've heard strategies for challenging misconceptions, weaving strength exercises into everyday routines, and enhancing posture and support systems. Now comes the best part, deciding to put them into practice. Are you ready to take that step? If so, go ahead and choose one small action you can do today or tomorrow. If you feel you need more guidance, you might connect with a local fitness group for seniors or ask a friend to join you for a short movement break. And if you're excited to see how far you can go, consider working with a physical therapist for a customized routine. Even watching online tutorials designed for older adults can be a great way to keep yourself motivated. Above all, know that you have the power to shape what your daily life looks like, regardless of your age. So the next time you spot that gallon of milk in the fridge, or pick up a favorite book from a high shelf, let it remind you of what you're capable of and what you can still become. Age may alter the way we move, but it doesn't have to define our destiny. With consistent, thoughtful effort, you can keep lifting, reaching, playing, and living life with the dignity and independence you deserve.